The wedding ring sat on the kitchen counter like an accusation. Kang Ji-ho picked it up with trembling fingers, the weight of it suddenly unbearable. His wife was gone, his daughter was gone, and the photographs that had destroyed his marriage in one night were still open on his laptop screen. Him and another woman entering Hotel Schilla at 11 p.m. It looked exactly like what it wasn't. But how could he explain that to Nayla when he'd been lying to her about everything else for 5 years? The Korean Mafia boss had built an empire on secrets and control. Now those same secrets had cost him the only thing he'd never wanted to control, his wife's heart. And somewhere in Seoul, Nayla was teaching their 4-year-old daughter a new word. Freedom. Nayla woke up at 4 in the morning to an empty bed. Again. She stared at the ceiling of their bedroom, counting the seconds between her breaths. The sheets on Ji-ho's side were cold. He hadn't come home at all. She turned her head and looked at the space where her husband should have been. No note. No text. Nothing. This was the 5th time this month. Nayla sat up slowly, careful not to make noise even though there was no one to wake. Her braids fell over her shoulder as she reached for her phone on the nightstand. 3:47 a.m. She unlocked it. No messages. No calls. She stood and walked to the window. Seoul stretched out below, glittering and awake even at this hour. Somewhere out there, Kang Ji-ho was doing whatever it was he did when he disappeared. She didn't cry. She was past that. At 6:30, Nayla heard the front door open. She was already dressed, sitting at the kitchen counter with a cup of tea. She listened to his footsteps in the hallway, slow and heavy. When Ji-ho appeared in the doorway, his tie was loosened, and there was something unreadable in his face. "You're awake," he said. "I'm always awake," Nayla replied. She didn't look at him. She looked at her tea. Ji-ho walked to the counter but didn't sit. He stood across from her, hands in his pockets. He looked tired. Good, she thought. So am I. "I had a meeting that ran late," he said. "Until 4 in the morning." "Yes." Nayla finally looked up at him. "What kind of meeting, Ji-ho?" There was a pause. He didn't answer right away, and that pause told her everything. He wasn't going to explain. He never did. "The kind I can't talk about," he said quietly. Nayla nodded. She took another sip of her tea even though it had gone cold. "Right. Nayla." "I'm not fighting with you," she said. "I'm just stating facts. You didn't come home. You won't tell me where you were. That's just how it is now." "It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" She set the cup down a little harder than she meant to. "Explain it to me, Ji-ho, because from where I'm sitting, I have no idea what my husband does half the time. I don't know who he's with or what he's doing. And when I ask, I get silence." Ji-ho's jaw tightened. "I'm trying to protect you." "From what?" "From things you don't need to worry about." Nayla laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "I'm a human rights attorney. I've worked in conflict zones. I've negotiated with warlords. What exactly do you think I can't handle?" He didn't answer. She stood up. "I'm going to wake Nari. She had school." "Nayla, wait." But she was already walking away. In the nursery, Nyla's 4-year-old daughter was still asleep, curled up with a stuffed rabbit. Nayla sat on the edge of the bed and stroked Nari's hair. The little girl stirred, her eyes blinking open. "Mama?" Nari's voice was sleepy and sweet. "Good morning, baby," Nayla whispered. She smiled, even though her chest felt tight. "Time to wake up." "Is Appa home?" Nayla hesitated. "Yes." "He's home. Can he take me to school today?" "We'll see, sweetheart. Let's get you dressed first." By the time Nayla got Nari ready and brought her to the kitchen for breakfast, Ji-ho was gone again. There was a note on the counter this time. "Had to go to the office early. I'll call you later." Nayla crumpled the note and threw it in the trash. At her law office in Gangnam, Nayla tried to focus on work. She had a case hearing in 2 days, a complicated asylum claim that required her full attention. but her mind kept drifting. She checked her phone twice. No messages from Ji-ho. Her paralegal, a young woman named Hana, knocked on the door at 11. "Attorney Kang, you have a visitor," Hana said. Nyla frowned. She didn't have any appointments scheduled. "Who is it?" She didn't give her name, but she said it's urgent. Nyla sighed and nodded. "Send her in." The woman who walked into her office was elegant, polished, and unfamiliar. She wore a cream-colored coat, and her hair was styled in soft waves. She looked at Nyla with something that might have been pity. "Attorney Kang," the woman said, "I'm sorry to bother you." "Do we know each other?" Nyla asked carefully. "No, but I think you should see this." The woman placed a large envelope on Nyla's desk. "I'm not trying to hurt you. I just think you deserve to know the truth." Nyla stared at the envelope. "What is this?" "Open it when I leave," the woman said. Then she turned and walked out. Nyla sat frozen for a moment. Then she reached for the envelope. Her hands were steady as she opened it, but her heartbeat wasn't. Inside were photographs. The first one showed Ji-ho standing outside a hotel entrance. The timestamp read, 11:03 p.m. last night. The second photograph showed him with a woman. She was beautiful, younger than Nyla, and she was laughing at something Ji-ho had said. His hand was on her lower back. The third photograph showed them entering the hotel together. Nyla's breath caught in her throat. She flipped through the rest. There were 6 in total, all time-stamped, all clear. She set the photos down on her desk and stared at them. So that's where he was. She didn't cry. She didn't scream. She sat very still and let the truth settle into her bones. "Hey, before we continue, if you're already hooked on Nyla's story, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next, and drop a comment telling me, would you stay or would you go? Let's keep going." Nyla left work early. She picked Nari up from preschool and took her to get ice cream. Nari chattered the whole time about her day, about her friend Minseo, about the drawing she made of their family. Nyla listened and smiled, and felt like she was watching herself from far away. When they got home, Ji-ho still wasn't there. Nyla gave Nari a bath, read her 3 stories, and tucked her into bed. Then she went to the kitchen and poured herself a glass of wine. She sat at the counter with the photographs spread out in front of her. At 9 p.m., Ji-ho came home. He walked into the kitchen and stopped when he saw her. His eyes went to the photographs on the counter. "Nyla," he said. She looked up at him. Her face was calm. "Who is she?" Ji-ho's expression shifted into something guarded. "It's not what it looks like." "That's what people say when it's exactly what it looks like." "I didn't sleep with her." "But you were with her." Nyla's voice was quiet. "At a hotel. At 11 p.m. While I was home alone wondering where my husband was. It was a business meeting." Nyla laughed. It was a sharp, bitter sound. "A business meeting. At a hotel. With a woman who looks at you like that." She pointed at one of the photos. Ji-ho stepped closer. "Nyla, please. I can't explain everything right now, but you have to trust me." "Trust you?" Nyla stood up. "Ji-ho, I don't even know you anymore. I don't know what you do. I don't know where you go. I don't know who you're with. And now I find out you're meeting women at hotels, and I'm supposed to just trust you?" "Yes," he said simply. "Why?" Her voice cracked. "Give me one reason why I should believe anything you say." "Because I'm your husband." "That's not enough." She shook her head. "That's not enough anymore." Ji-ho's face hardened. "What do you want me to say?" "The truth." Nyla's voice rose. "I want you to tell me the truth. Who was she? What were you doing there? And don't tell me it's business, because I'm not stupid, Ji-ho." He was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, "Her name is Park Soo-yeon. Her father runs a company that my family has dealings with. The meeting was necessary." "At a hotel?" "Yes." "Why not at your office? Why not at a restaurant?" "It's complicated." "Then uncomplicate it." Nyla slammed her hand on the counter. The photographs scattered. "I am your wife. I deserve to know what's going on." You wouldn't understand the context, Jiho said, and there was an edge to his voice now. Nayla went very still. What does that mean? It means there are parts of my life that you're not involved in, for your own safety. My safety, she repeated slowly. Or your convenience. That's not fair. None of this is fair. Nayla's eyes were burning now. I gave up everything to be here with you. I left my job at the UN. I moved to a country where I barely spoke the language. I learned Korean for you. I built a life here. And you won't even tell me the truth about where you were last night. Jiho looked away. I'm trying to protect you. I don't need protection, Nayla said. I need a partner. I need someone who sees me as an equal, not some fragile thing that needs to be kept in the dark. Nayla. Get out of this room, she said quietly. He stared at her. What? I said get out. I don't want to look at you right now. This is my house. It's our house, Nayla corrected. But this conversation is over. So either you leave, or I will. For a moment, they just looked at each other. Then Jiho turned and walked out. Nayla stood in the kitchen, surrounded by photographs of her husband with another woman, and finally let herself cry. She didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, thinking about every decision that had led her here. She thought about the day she met Jiho at a UN conference 6 years ago. He'd been different then. Warmer. Or maybe she'd just been too in love to see who he really was. She thought about their wedding. Small and intimate, her family flying in from Lagos. Her mother had pulled her aside and asked, "Are you sure about this man?" Nayla had laughed and said yes. She'd been so sure. She thought about Nari's birth, the way Jiho had cried when he held their daughter for the first time. That was the last time she'd seen him truly vulnerable. Somewhere along the way, he'd closed himself off. The walls had gone up brick by brick, and now Nayla couldn't find the door anymore. At 4 a.m., she got out of bed. She walked to the closet and pulled out a suitcase. She started packing. 1 week's worth of clothes for her. 1 week for Nari. Toiletries. Documents. Nari's favorite toys. She moved quietly, methodically. She wasn't angry anymore. She was just tired. By the time the sun came up, the suitcase was packed and sitting by the bedroom door. Nayla sat on the edge of the bed with her phone in her hands. She pulled up her best friend Yemi's number and typed out a message. "Can Nari and I stay with you for a while?" The response came 30 seconds later. "Of course. What happened?" "I'll tell you when I see you. I'm here. Whatever you need." Nayla took a deep breath. Then she stood up, grabbed the suitcase, and went to wake her daughter. "Mama?" Nari rubbed her eyes as Nayla gently shook her shoulder. "It's still dark outside." "I know, baby," Nayla said softly. "But we're going on an adventure today. We're going to stay with Auntie Yemi for a little while." "Why?" "Because Mama needs a break," Nayla said. "And you love Auntie Yemi, right?" Nari nodded, still sleepy. "What about Appa?" Nyla's throat tightened. "Appa has to work, but we'll see him soon." It was a lie. She wasn't sure when they'd see him again, but she couldn't tell a 4-year-old that her mother was leaving her father. She got Nari dressed quickly, quietly. She carried their suitcase to the front door and then went back for Nari. The little girl was half asleep in her arms as Nayla walked through the apartment one last time. She stopped in the kitchen. Her wedding ring sat on her finger, a thin gold band that Jiho had chosen himself. She twisted it off slowly and set it on the kitchen counter. Then she walked out the door. The streets of Seoul were just starting to wake up. Nayla hailed a taxi and gave the driver Yemi's address in Mapo-gu. Nari fell asleep against her shoulder in the backseat. Nayla held her daughter close and watched the city blur past the window. She didn't let herself think about Jiho waking up to an empty house. She didn't let herself imagine his face when he saw the ring on the counter. She just focused on breathing in and out, on getting to safety, on taking care of Nari. Yemi was waiting outside her apartment building when the taxi pulled up. She was a tall Ghanaian woman with short natural hair and eyes that missed nothing. She took one look at Nyla's face and pulled her into a hug. "Come on," Yemi said. "Let's get you inside." The apartment was small but warm. Yemi had already made up the guest bed and put out fresh towels. She took Nari from Nyla's arms and carried the sleeping child to the bed. Then she came back to the living room where Nyla was sitting on the couch, staring at nothing. "Talk to me," Yemi said. So Nyla told her everything. The late nights, the secrets, the photographs, the fight. Yemi listened without interrupting, and when Nyla was done, she just nodded. "You did the right thing," Yemi said. "Did I?" Nyla's voice was small. "I just left. I didn't even tell him I was going." "He didn't tell you where he was going either," Yemi pointed out. "He doesn't get to keep secrets, and then act surprised when you stop waiting around for explanations." Nyla leaned back against the couch. "I don't know what happens now." "Now you breathe," Yemi said. "You take care of yourself and Nari, and you figure out what you actually want. Not what he wants. Not what's convenient. What you want." "I want to not feel like this," Nyla whispered. "I know." Yemi squeezed her hand. "But you will. I promise." Nyla wanted to believe her. At 9 a.m., Nyla's phone started ringing. Jiho's name flashed on the screen. She declined the call. It rang again. She declined again. By the 10th call, she turned her phone off completely. "He's going to lose his mind," Yemi said. "Good," Nyla replied. "Maybe he'll understand how I've felt for the past year." Yemi raised an eyebrow. "Cold. I like it." Nari woke up around 10 and came padding into the living room in her pajamas. "Auntie Yemi," she squealed, and Yemi scooped her up. "There's my favorite girl," Yemi said. "You hungry? I make a mean pancake." "With chocolate chips." "Is there any other way?" Nahila watched them in the kitchen, Yemi flipping pancakes, while Nari sat on the counter and chattered away. For the first time in months, something in Nahila's chest loosened just a little. Maybe this was the right choice. Maybe she could breathe again. But even as she thought it, she knew this wasn't over. Jiho wouldn't just let her disappear. He'd come looking. And when he found her, they'd have to face each other again. She just wasn't ready yet. That afternoon, while Nari napped, Nyla turned her phone back on. 47 missed calls from Jiho, 15 text messages, 3 voicemails. She didn't read or listen to any of them. Instead, she called her law partner, attorney Jung. "Nyla," he answered on the first ring. "Where are you?" "Jiho has been calling the office looking for you." "I need to take some time off," Nyla said. "For how long?" "I don't know yet. A week, maybe more." There was a pause. "Is everything all right?" "No," Nyla said honestly. "But it will be. Can you handle my cases?" "Of course. But Nyla, if you need anything, I'll let you know. Thank you, Attorney Young." She hung up before he could ask more questions. Next, she called her mother in Lagos. It was early morning there. Her mother answered on the third ring, her voice thick with sleep. "Nayla? What's wrong?" Mothers always knew. "Mama," Nayla said, and her voice broke. "I left Jiho." There was a sharp intake of breath. "What happened?" Nayla told her a shortened version. Her mother listened, and when Nayla finished, there was a long silence. "Come home," her mother said finally. "Bring Nari and come home to Lagos. You don't have to stay there." "I can't just leave, Mama. My whole life is here." "Your life is wherever you are," her mother said firmly. "If that man isn't treating you right, you don't owe him anything, not even an explanation. It's more complicated than that." "It's only as complicated as you make it," her mother replied. "But I trust you. You're smart. You'll figure it out. Just know that you always have a home here." After they hung up, Nyla sat with her phone in her hands. She scrolled through her contacts and stopped at Jiho's name. Her thumb hovered over the call button. She wanted to hear his voice. She wanted him to explain everything, to make it make sense, to tell her it was all a misunderstanding. But she also knew that he wouldn't. He'd give her half-truths and careful words, and expect her to accept it. She wasn't going to do that anymore. She put the phone down. That night, Yemi ordered Chinese food, and they ate straight from the containers while watching a terrible reality show. Nare fell asleep on the couch between them. Nyla looked down at her daughter's peaceful face and felt her heart squeeze. "What am I doing?" she whispered. "What if I'm making a mistake?" "You're protecting yourself," Yemi said. "That's not a mistake." "But what about Nari? She deserves to have her father." "She deserves to have a father who respects her mother," Yemi corrected. "And right now, Jiho isn't doing that." Nyla knew she was right, but knowing it didn't make it hurt less. On the second day at Yemi's apartment, Nyla did something she'd been afraid to do for months. She started looking into Kong Enterprises, really looking. She used her legal database access to pull corporate records, shell companies, financial transactions, offshore accounts. The deeper she dug, the worse it got. Kong Enterprises wasn't just a legitimate business. It was a front for something much darker. Money laundering, political bribes, connections to organized crime families in Seoul. Her husband wasn't just a CEO, he was part of the underworld. Nyla sat back in her chair, staring at the screen. How had she missed this? How had she been married to this man for 5 years and never seen it? Or maybe she had seen it. Maybe she'd just chosen not to look too closely. "Nyla." Yemi appeared in the doorway. "You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost." "I married a criminal," Nyla said numbly. Yemi came over and looked at the screen. Her eyes widened. Oh no. "I didn't know," Nyla said. "I swear, I didn't know it was this bad." "Hey." Yemi crouched down next to her chair. "You couldn't have known if he was hiding it from you. This isn't your fault." But Nyla wasn't sure about that. She was a lawyer. She was trained to see patterns, to ask questions, to dig for truth. Had she been willfully blind because she loved him? She thought about all the times Jiho had come home late, the phone calls he took in other rooms, the business trips that made no sense, the way people looked at him with fear instead of respect. She'd told herself it was just Korean business culture, that she didn't understand how things worked here. She'd been lying to herself. "I need to get Nari out of here," Nyla said suddenly. "If Jiho is involved in this kind of thing, we're not safe." "Where will you go?" "I don't know. Maybe back to Nigeria. Maybe somewhere else. But I can't stay in Seoul." Yemi bit her lip. "Nyla, your visa is tied to your marriage. If you leave Jiho, you might not be able to stay in Korea legally anyway." Nyla had forgotten about that. Her residency status was dependent on being married to a Korean citizen. If she divorced Jiho, she'd have to leave the country within 90 days unless she could find another sponsor. She felt trapped. Again. "One problem at a time," Yemi said gently. "First, you keep yourself and Nari safe. Everything else we can figure out." Nyla nodded, but her mind was racing. She needed a plan. She needed options. She needed to be 3 steps ahead of Jiho because she had a feeling that once he found out what she knew, things were going to get very dangerous. On the 3rd day, Nari asked the question Nyla had been dreading. "When are we going home, Mama?" They were sitting on Yemi's balcony, coloring together. Nyla's hand stilled over the paper. "Do you miss home, baby?" she asked carefully. "I miss my room," Nari said. "And I miss Appa. Why hasn't he come to see us?" "Appa is very busy with work." "Is he mad at us?" "No, sweetheart. He's not mad." Nyla pulled Nari into her lap. Sometimes grown-ups need a little space from each other, but that doesn't mean anyone is mad. "Are you and Appa having a fight?" Nyla hesitated. "Something like that." "You should say sorry," Nari said seriously. "That's what you tell me to do when I fight with Minseo." "You're right," Nyla said. "That is what I tell you. But sometimes sorry isn't enough to fix things." Why not? How did you explain betrayal to a 4-year-old? Because some fights are bigger than others, Nyla said finally. But I promise you, no matter what happens, you are loved. By me and by Appa. That will never change. Nari seemed satisfied with that answer. She went back to coloring. But Nyla sat there, holding her daughter, wondering how she was going to explain this if things got worse. That night, Nyla made a decision. She wasn't going to run. Not yet. She was going to confront this head-on. But on her terms, not Jiho's. She turned her phone back on and scrolled through Jiho's messages. Most were variations of, "Where are you?" and "We need to talk," and "Please call me back." But the most recent one, sent just an hour ago, made her blood run cold. "I know you're with Yemi. We need to talk. I'm coming over tomorrow." Nyla's heart slammed against her ribs. How did he know? Had he tracked her phone? Had someone told him? She showed the message to Yemi. "Well," Yemi said, "I guess we're having company tomorrow." "I'm sorry," Nyla said. "I didn't mean to drag you into this." "Girl, please. You think I'm scared of your husband?" Yemi crossed her arms. "Let him come. We'll talk. And if he tries anything, I have a very loud voice and very nosy neighbors." Despite everything, Nyla smiled. But that night, she barely slept. She kept thinking about seeing Jiho again, about what she would say, about whether he would try to convince her to come home or whether he would finally tell her the truth. She didn't know which one scared her more. The next morning, Nyla got Nari ready and asked Yemi to take her to the park. "I need to talk to Jiho alone," she explained. "Are you sure?" Yemi looked worried. "I'll be fine. I just don't want Nari here for this conversation." Yemi nodded. "Okay. But I'm keeping my phone on. You call me if anything feels wrong." "I will." After they left, Nyla paced the apartment. She made tea. She didn't drink it. She sat on the couch. She stood up again. She checked her reflection in the bathroom mirror and saw a woman she barely recognized. Tired. Thinner. Older somehow. At exactly 10 a.m., there was a knock on the door. Nyla took a deep breath and opened it. Jiho stood in the hallway. He looked worse than she'd ever seen him. His hair was messy. There were dark circles under his eyes. His clothes looked slept in. "Nyla," he said, and his voice cracked on her name. She stepped aside. "Come in." He walked into the apartment slowly, looking around like he was trying to memorize it. "Where's Nari?" "With Yemi, at the park." "Is she okay?" "She's fine." Jiho nodded. Then he turned to face her fully. "Why did you leave?" Nyla stared at him. "Are you seriously asking me that?" "I need to hear you say it." "Fine." She crossed her arms. "I left because you lied to me. Because you spent the night with another woman. Because you keep secrets from me about everything. Because I don't know who you are anymore. Because I'm tired of feeling like a stranger in my own marriage. Is that enough?" "I didn't sleep with Su-yeon," Jiho said. "So you keep saying. But you were with her. At a hotel. And you won't explain why." "I told you it was business. And I told you I don't believe you." Nyla's voice rose. "Do you think I'm stupid, Jiho? Do you think I don't know what you are? What Kang Enterprises really is?" His expression shifted. Went cold. "What are you talking about?" "I'm a lawyer," Nyla said. "I know how to read corporate filings. I know how to trace money. And I've spent the last 3 days looking into your company. Nyla, don't. Don't what? Don't find out the truth? Don't realize I'm married to a criminal?" She laughed bitterly. "It's too late for that." Jiho took a step toward her. "You don't understand what you're looking at." "Then explain it to me." "I can't." "Why not?" Nyla shouted. "Why can't you just be honest with me for once?" "Because the more you know, the more danger you're in," Jiho shouted back. "Do you understand that? The world I'm in, the things I deal with, they're not safe. I kept you away from it to protect you, and Nari—" "I don't need you to protect me," Nyla said. I need you to trust me. I need you to see me as a partner, not something fragile you have to manage. You are my wife. Then treat me like one." Her voice broke. "Tell me the truth. All of it. Who is Park Soo-yeon, really? What were you doing at that hotel? And what kind of business are you actually running?" Ji-ho was quiet for a long moment. Then he said very quietly, "If I tell you everything, there's no going back. You'll be part of this. And I can't protect you anymore." "Maybe I don't want your protection," Nayla said. "Maybe I just want you." They stared at each other across Yemi's small living room. Nayla could see the war happening behind Ji-ho's eyes. The part of him that wanted to tell her everything, fighting with the part that wanted to keep her safe. Finally, he spoke. "Park Soo-yeon's father runs the second largest syndicate in Seoul. He wants to merge operations with the Kang family. The meeting at the hotel was to discuss terms." Nayla felt like the floor had dropped out from under her. "Syndicate? You mean organized crime?" "Yes. And you're part of it." "I'm the head of it," Ji-ho said. "My father built it. When he died, it became mine." Nayla sat down on the couch before her legs gave out. "How long?" "Since before we met. So our entire marriage. I've been lying to you." "Yes." Ji-ho's voice was flat. "I kept you separate from that world. I built Kang Enterprises as a legitimate business to give us a normal life. But the syndicate is still there. It always will be." "And Soo-yeon?" "Her father wanted us to marry, to join the families. I refused. I chose you instead." Ji-ho ran a hand through his hair. "That meeting was him trying one more time to convince me. The photos were taken by his people to cause exactly this, to drive us apart." Nayla looked up at him. "So, this was all a setup?" "Yes." "And you couldn't just tell me that?" "I've spent 5 years trying to keep you away from this," Ji-ho said. "If you knew what I really was, what I really did, would you have stayed?" Nayla thought about it. Would she have? She didn't know. "You didn't give me the choice," she said finally. "You decided for me. You kept me in the dark and made me feel crazy for asking questions. That's not love, Ji-ho. That's control. I was trying to give you a normal life." "I didn't want normal," Nayla said, and she was crying now. "I wanted real. I wanted you. All of you. Even the messy parts. Even the scary parts. But you never let me in." Ji-ho crossed the room and knelt in front of her. "I'm letting you in now. I'm telling you everything. What do you want me to do?" Nayla looked at him, this man she'd loved for 6 years, and realized she had no idea what to say. Nayla wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "I don't know what I want you to do. I don't know anything anymore." Ji-ho reached for her hand but stopped himself. "Can I ask you something?" "What? Do you still love me?" The question hung in the air between them. Nayla looked at him, really looked at him. At the exhaustion in his face, the fear in his eyes, the way his hands were shaking slightly. "That's the problem," she said quietly. "I do. I still love you. And I hate that I do." "Then come home," Ji-ho said. "Please. We can figure this out. I'll tell you everything from now on. No more secrets." "You say that now," Nayla said. "But what happens the next time something dangerous comes up? You'll go right back to protecting me by keeping me in the dark." "I won't." "How do I know that?" "Because I almost lost you," Ji-ho said, and his voice broke. "I came home and you were gone. Nari was gone. And I realized that every choice I made to keep you safe actually pushed you away. I can't do that again." Nayla wanted to believe him, but wanting and trusting were two different things. "I need time," she said. "I need to think about all of this." "How much time?" "I don't know. More than 3 days." Ji-ho nodded slowly. He stood up. "Can I see Nari before I go?" "She's at the park with Yemi. I didn't want her here for this conversation." "Right." He looked around the small apartment again. "Are you safe here?" "Yes. If you need anything, money, security, anything at all." "I'm fine, Ji-ho." He nodded again. He walked to the door, then stopped. Nayla. Yes? I'm sorry. For all of it. I thought I was doing the right thing, but I hurt you instead. I'm sorry. Then he left. Nyla sat on the couch for a long time after he was gone. She didn't move, didn't cry, just sat there trying to process everything she'd learned. Her husband was a crime boss. The man she'd married, the father of her child, ran an organized crime syndicate, and he'd kept it from her for their entire relationship. She should have been angrier. She should have been terrified. But mostly she just felt sad. When Yemi came back with Nari an hour later, Nyla had pulled herself together. Nari ran to her immediately. Mama, we saw ducks, and Auntie Yemi bought me hatuk. That sounds wonderful, baby, Nyla said, hugging her tight. Yemi looked at her over Nari's head, raising an eyebrow. How did it go? Later, Nyla mouthed. That night, after Nari was asleep, Nyla told Yemi everything Jiho had said. Yemi listened, her eyes getting wider with each detail. So, he's basically a mafia boss, Yemi said when Nayla finished. Basically. And the hotel thing was a setup, apparently. But he still lied to you for 5 years. Yes, Yemi was quiet for a moment. What are you going to do? I have no idea, Nyla admitted. Part of me wants to take Nari and run as far as we can. But another part of me understands why he kept it secret. If I'd known from the beginning what he really was, would I have given him a chance? Probably not, Yemi said honestly. But that doesn't make it okay that he lied. I know. Do you think he'll really change? Really tell you everything from now on? I don't know, Nyla said. I want to believe he will. But trust isn't something you can just fix with one conversation. Yemi nodded. Well, whatever you decide, I'm here. You and Nari can stay as long as you need. Thank you, Nyla said, for everything. Over the next week, Nyla tried to build some kind of routine. She took Nari to a nearby preschool in the mornings. She worked from Yemi's apartment, handling her cases remotely. She avoided Jiho's calls, but she did start responding to his texts. Short, simple answers. Nothing personal. He asked about Nari every day. Nyla sent pictures, videos, small updates. It felt like they were co-parenting while living in the same city, and it broke her heart a little more each time. On the 8th day, Nayla received an official-looking envelope in the mail. She opened it carefully. It was from Immigration Services. A notice that her visa status was under review due to concerns about the validity of her marriage. She had 30 days to provide documentation proving the marriage was legitimate, or her visa would be revoked. Nyla stared at the letter, her hands shaking. Someone had reported her. Someone knew she'd left Jiho and was using it against her. This is not good, Yemi said, reading over her shoulder. Who would do this? I don't know, Nyla said. But whoever it is, they have connections in the immigration office. Could it be related to Jiho's business? Maybe. He said he has enemies. Maybe they're trying to get to him through me. Nayla called Jiho immediately. He answered on the first ring. Nayla, is everything okay? No. I just got a notice from immigration. Someone reported me. They're reviewing my visa status. There was a pause. Then Jiho said, in a voice that made her shiver, I'll handle it. How? I have people who can look into who filed the report. Give me 24 hours. Jiho, trust me, he said. Please, let me fix this. Nyla wanted to argue, but she also knew she didn't have many options. Okay, 24 hours. True to his word, Jiho called her back the next evening. It was Director Kang. Who? My uncle, my father's younger brother. He's been trying to take control of the family business since my father died. He sees you as a weakness, a way to destabilize me. So he's trying to get me deported. Yes, Nyla sat down heavily. What do I do? Come home, Jiho said immediately. If we're living together again, It proves the marriage is real. The review will go away. I can't just come back like nothing happened. I'm not asking you to forget anything, Ji-ho said. I'm asking you to let me protect you and Nari. My uncle is dangerous. If he's willing to go after your visa, he won't stop there. Nyla thought about Nari, sleeping peacefully in Yemi's guest room. Thought about what would happen if they were forced to leave Korea. She'd lose her job. Nari would lose her home. And they'd be running from something that wasn't even their fault. If I come back, Nyla said slowly, I need ground rules. Anything. Separate bedrooms. Full honesty about your business. And I'm not just your wife. I'm Nari's mother and my own person. You don't make decisions for me anymore. Agreed. I mean it, Ji-ho. The second you shut me out again, I'm gone. And next time, you won't find me. I understand, Ji-ho said quietly. When can I pick you and Nari up? Nyla looked around Yemi's apartment, her safe space for the past week. Tomorrow morning. I'll be there at 9. After she hung up, Yemi came into the room. You're going back. I don't have much choice, Nyla said. If I don't, I lose my visa. And I'm not ready to leave Korea, not like this. I get it, Yemi said. But please be careful. These people, Ji-ho's family, they sound dangerous. I will be. And Yemi? Thank you. For giving us a place to land. Always, Yemi said, pulling her into a hug. You're my sister. That doesn't change. The next morning, Ji-ho arrived exactly at 9. He helped carry their suitcase down to his car. Nari was thrilled to see him. Appa! She squealed, running into his arms. Ji-ho caught her and held her tight, his eyes closing briefly. I missed you, little one. I missed you too. Are we going home? Yes, we're all going home. The drive back to their apartment in Hanam-dong was quiet. Nari chattered in the back seat about her week with Auntie Yemi, but Nyla and Ji-ho barely spoke. There was too much hanging between them. When they walked into the apartment, everything looked exactly the same, like time had frozen the moment Nyla walked out. She half expected to see her wedding ring still on the kitchen counter, but it was gone. I put it in the safe, Ji-ho said, noticing her looking. In case you ever want it back. Nyla didn't respond. Ji-ho showed her to the guest room. It had been cleaned and prepared with fresh sheets, towels, toiletries, everything she might need to be comfortable. Thank you, Nyla said stiffly. I meant what I said, Ji-ho told her. No more secrets. You want to know something, you ask. I'll tell you. Okay. Tell me about Director Kang, your uncle. Why does he want to destroy you? Ji-ho leaned against the doorframe. My father left the business to me instead of him. Director Kang thinks he deserves to run it because he's older, because he's been in it longer. But my father didn't trust him. He's ruthless in ways that are bad for business. And going after my visa is part of his plan. He wants to prove I'm compromised, that I care more about my foreign wife than the family business. If he can get the other families to lose faith in me, he can stage a coup. So I'm a political pawn. You're my wife, Ji-ho corrected, and he's using that against both of us. Nyla absorbed this. What happens now? Now I prove to the families that I'm still in control, and you prove to immigration that our marriage is real. How do we do that? We live together. We attend events together. We look like a normal married couple. Ji-ho paused. I know that's asking a lot right now. It is, Nyla agreed, but I'll do it. For Nari, and for my visa. Not for you. Ji-ho nodded. Fair enough. That first week back in the apartment was strange. Nyla and Ji-ho moved around each other like polite strangers. He went to work early and came home for dinner. They ate together with Nari, keeping the conversation light and focused on their daughter. Then Nyla would retreat to the guest room, and Ji-ho would disappear into his office. It was civil, careful, completely hollow. But Nyla was gathering information. She started paying attention to Ji-ho's phone calls, his meetings, the people who came to the apartment. She was learning the shape of his world, and the more she learned, the more complicated her feelings became. Ji-ho wasn't just a criminal. He was also the person keeping several neighborhoods safe from worse criminals. He bribed officials, yes, but he also funded schools and hospitals. He ran illegal gambling operations, but he also made sure the money went back into the community. It didn't make it right, but it made it less black and white than she'd thought. Hey, I know this story is getting intense. If you're still with me, drop a comment and let me know what you think Nayla should do. Should she give Ji-ho another chance or protect her heart? Let's keep going, because things are about to get even more complicated. 2 weeks after Nayla moved back, she met Park Soo-yeon. It happened at a charity gala that Ji-ho insisted they attend together. "We need to be seen as a united front," he'd explained. Nayla wore a deep green dress that Yemi helped her pick out and tried not to feel like she was playing dress-up in someone else's life. The gala was held at a luxury hotel in Gangnam. Everyone there was wealthy, powerful, or both. Nayla felt eyes on her everywhere she went. She was used to being the only black woman in most rooms in Seoul, but this felt different. These people were assessing her, judging whether she was strong enough to stand next to Kang Ji-ho. She lifted her chin and smiled. Ji-ho introduced her to various business associates, his hand resting lightly on her lower back. It was the most he'd touched her since she came back. Nayla tried not to think about how much she'd missed it. Then a woman appeared beside them. She was beautiful in an understated way, with long dark hair and an elegant black dress. She smiled at Nayla. "You must be Mrs. Kang," the woman said in perfect English. "I've heard so much about you." "Nayla," she corrected, shaking the woman's offered hand. "And you are?" "Park Soo-yeon." The name hit Nayla like cold water. This was the woman from the photographs, the one Ji-ho had met at the hotel. Soo-yeon must have seen something in Nyla's face because her smile turned sad. "I'm sorry. I should have introduced myself differently. I know you've seen the photos." "Yes," Nayla said carefully. "I have." Ji-ho had gone very still beside her. "Soo-yeon, this isn't the time." "Actually, I think it is," Soo-yeon said. She looked at Nayla. "Can we talk? Just for a moment? I promise I'm not here to cause trouble." Nayla glanced at Ji-ho. He looked like he wanted to refuse, but Nayla was curious. "It's fine. I'd like to hear what she has to say." They moved to a quieter corner of the ballroom. Ji-ho stayed close enough to intervene if needed, but far enough to give them privacy. "I want you to know that nothing happened that night," Soo-yeon said quietly. "The meeting was exactly what Ji-ho told you. My father wanted us to discuss a business merger. I left after an hour. The photographs were taken by my father's people without my knowledge." "Why are you telling me this?" Nayla asked. "Because I know what it's like to be used as a pawn in these men's games," Soo-yeon said. "My father has been trying to marry me off to create alliances since I was 20. I refused every match until he threatened to cut me off from the family entirely. I don't love Ji-ho. I don't even want to marry him. But my father doesn't care about that." Nayla studied the other woman's face. She seemed sincere. "What do you want from me?" "Nothing," Soo-yeon said. "I just wanted you to know the truth, and to warn you. My father is working with Director Kang to push Ji-ho out. They're planning something. I don't know what yet, but it's going to happen soon." "Why are you warning us?" "Because unlike my father, I don't believe in destroying people's lives for power," Soo-yeon said. She pulled a small USB drive from her purse. "This has information about my father's operations, financial records, communications with Director Kang, everything. I'm giving it to you because I think you might actually know what to do with it. You're a lawyer, right?" Nayla took the USB drive carefully. "Why not give this to Ji-ho directly?" "Because he'll try to protect you from it," Soo-yeon said. "He'll see the danger and try to keep you away. But you're already in it. You might as well have the information to protect yourself." Before Nayla could respond, Soo-yeon smiled one more time. "Good luck, Mrs. Kang. I hope things work out for you. You seem like the kind of woman who doesn't give up easily." Then she disappeared into the crowd. Nyla stood there with the USB drive in her hand, her mind racing. Jiho appeared at her side immediately. "What did she give you?" he asked. "Information," Nyla said. "About your uncle and her father." Jiho reached for it. "Let me see it." Nyla closed her fist around the drive. "No. She gave it to me. If there's something on here, I need to know. I'm going to look at it myself first." "Nyla, it could be dangerous." "Then you can look at it with me," she said. "Together. Like partners." Jiho stared at her for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. "Okay. Together." They left the gala early. At home, after checking on a sleeping Nari, they went to Jiho's office. Nyla plugged the USB drive into his computer. The files were extensive. Financial records showing money moving between Park's organization and Director Kang's accounts. Emails discussing the plan to destabilize Jiho. Photographs of meetings. Recorded phone conversations. And right there in the middle of it all was the immigration complaint against Nyla. Director Kang had filed it himself, using his connections in the government to fast-track the review. "He really wants me gone," Nyla said quietly. "He wants to hurt me," Jiho corrected. "You're just the easiest way to do it." Nyla kept scrolling through the files. Then she found something that made her blood run cold. A planned attack on one of Jiho's operations, scheduled for 3 days from now. But the location listed wasn't a business. It was Nari's preschool. "Jiho," she said, her voice shaking. "Look at this." He read over her shoulder. His face went white. "They're going to use the school as leverage. Take the children hostage to force me to step down." "We have to warn someone," Nyla said. "The police. The school. Someone." "We can't go to the police," Jiho said. "Half of them are on various family payrolls. If we report this, it'll get back to Director Kang and he'll just change the plan." "Then what do we do?" Jiho was quiet for a moment, his mind clearly working through options. "We move Nari, tomorrow. She doesn't go back to that school." "And the other children?" "I'll have my people watching the school. If anything suspicious happens, they'll intervene." "That's not enough," Nyla said. "We have evidence of a planned attack on children. We have to do something." "What do you suggest?" Jiho asked. "Go to the authorities with evidence that also incriminates me? They'll arrest me and still leave the school vulnerable." Nyla knew he was right, but it made her sick. "So, we just let it happen?" "No. We prevent it from happening, but we do it quietly." Over the next 2 days, Jiho mobilized his network. Extra security around the preschool, background checks on all new staff, surveillance on anyone associated with Director Kang or Park's organization. Nyla kept Nari home, telling her they were having a special mother-daughter week. Nari was delighted. Nyla was terrified. On the 3rd day, the day of the planned attack, nothing happened. The school operated normally. No suspicious activity. No danger. But that night, Jiho came home with news that changed everything. "Director Kang is dead," he said. Nyla looked up from where she was sitting on the couch. "What?" "Car accident. His vehicle went off a bridge this afternoon." "That's convenient timing." "Too convenient," Jiho agreed. "Park's people are saying it was retaliation for the school plan. My people are saying it was Park himself, eliminating a liability. What do you think?" "I think my uncle made too many enemies, and eventually one of them got tired of waiting," Jiho said. He sat down next to her, careful to keep space between them. "But with him gone, the immediate threat to you and Nari is reduced." "Reduced? Not gone." "Never gone," Jiho said honestly. "This is the world I live in, Nyla. This is what I tried to protect you from." Nyla thought about the past 2 weeks. The fear, the constant vigilance, the weight of knowing her daughter could be used as leverage. "I can't live like this," she said quietly, "always looking over my shoulder, always wondering if today is the day someone comes after us." "I know," Jiho said, "and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry I brought you into this. You didn't bring me into it, Nayla said. I walked into it myself when I married you. I just didn't know what I was walking into. They sat in silence for a moment. Then Nayla said, I looked at more of the files on that USB drive. I found transaction records connecting your business to human trafficking. Jiho's head snapped toward her. What? 2 years ago. Payments to an organization that's known for trafficking. Did you know about that? No, Jiho said immediately. Absolutely not. That's not something I would ever be involved in. But someone in your organization was. Jiho stood up and started pacing. Give me the files. I'll find out who authorized those payments. I already know who, Nayla said. Director Kang. Your uncle was using your business to cover his own operations. That's why my father didn't trust him, Jiho said quietly. He must have known. Jiho, if this comes out, it doesn't matter that it wasn't you. Your name is on the business. You'll go down for it. I know. So what are we going to do about it? Jiho stopped pacing and looked at her. We? You said no more secrets, Nayla reminded him. You said we're partners, so partner with me. What are we going to do? For the first time since she'd moved back, Jiho smiled. It was small and sad, but it was real. I don't know. What do you think we should do, Attorney Kang? Nayla thought about it. She thought about the law, about justice, about the right thing versus the safe thing. We clean house, she said finally. We find everyone in your organization who was involved with your uncle's side operations. We cut them out, and we restructure everything to make sure it can't happen again. That could take months, and it'll make me look weak to the other families. Or it'll make you look principled, Nayla said, like someone who won't tolerate certain lines being crossed. That's not weakness, that's strength. Jiho sat back down next to her. This time he was closer. You're brilliant. You know that. I'm a lawyer, Nayla said. It's literally my job to find solutions. Will you help me? Jiho asked. With the restructuring? I need someone I can trust, and right now, that list is very short. Nayla looked at him, at the hope in his eyes, the vulnerability. This was the Jiho she'd fallen in love with, the one who let his guard down, the one who needed her. I'll help, she said, on one condition. Anything. We go to therapy, both of us, together. Jiho blinked. Therapy. Yes, because even if we fix all the external problems, we still have to fix us, and I don't know how to do that on my own. Jiho was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. Okay, we'll go to therapy. You're agreeing to that surprisingly easily. Because I'll do whatever it takes, Jiho said simply. I almost lost you once. I'm not making that mistake again. Something in Nayla's chest loosened just a little. Not forgiveness. Not yet. But maybe the beginning of a path toward it. That night, for the first time since moving back, Nayla didn't immediately retreat to the guest room after Nari went to bed. She stayed on the couch with Jiho, and they talked. Really talked. About his father. About the business. About the choices that led him here. I never wanted this life, Jiho admitted. I wanted to be an architect. Did you know that? No, Nayla said. She didn't know much about Jiho's life before the syndicate. I was in university, studying design. Then my father got sick. He called me home and told me I had a responsibility to the family, that I couldn't just walk away and let everything he built fall apart. So you gave up your dreams. I thought I was being dutiful, honorable. Jiho laughed bitterly. Now I'm not sure what I am. You're a father, Nayla said, and a husband, and someone trying to do better. That counts for something. Jiho looked at her. Do you think you'll ever forgive me for lying to you all those years? Nayla thought about it honestly. I don't know. Ask me again in 6 months. That's fair, Jiho said. They talked until almost midnight. When Nayla finally stood to go to bed, Jiho stood too. Nayla, he said. Yes? Thank you. for not giving up on us yet. Naila didn't know what to say to that, so she just nodded and went to the guest room. But as she lay in bed that night, she realized something had shifted. She was still hurt, still angry, still scared of what the future might hold. But she wasn't alone anymore. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough to start with. The next morning, Naila woke up to Nari crying. She rushed to her daughter's room and found her burning with fever. "Mama, my head hurts," Nari whimpered. Naila pressed her hand to Nari's forehead. She was burning up. "It's okay, baby. Mama's here." She grabbed her phone and called Jiho, who was already at the office. "Nari's sick. High fever. I'm taking her to the hospital." "I'm coming home right now," Jiho said. "Don't leave without me." "Jiho, she needs to see a doctor now." "Then I'll meet you there." "Which hospital?" "Asan Medical Center." "I'll be there in 20 minutes." Naila got Nari dressed and called a taxi. By the time they reached the emergency room, Nari's fever had climbed even higher. The nurses took her back immediately. Naila sat in the waiting room, her heart pounding. She knew it was probably just a virus. Kids got fevers all the time. But she couldn't shake the fear that something was seriously wrong. Jiho arrived 15 minutes later, slightly out of breath. "Where is she?" "They took her back for examination. They said someone would update us soon." Jiho sat down next to her. Without thinking, he reached for her hand. Naila let him take it. They waited together in silence. Finally, a doctor came out. "Mr. and Mrs. Kang? Your daughter has a severe ear infection. We're going to admit her overnight for IV antibiotics and monitoring." "Can we see her?" Naila asked. "Of course. Follow me." Nari was in a pediatric room, hooked up to an IV, looking small and miserable. When she saw her parents, she started crying. "Mama, Appa, I don't feel good." "I know, sweet girl," Naila said, sitting on the edge of her bed. "But the medicine is going to make you feel better soon." Jiho stood on the other side of the bed, his hand on Nari's. "You're being very brave." "Will you stay with me?" Nari asked. "Of course," they said at the same time. The hospital provided a cot for parents. Naila and Jiho took turns sitting with Nari while she slept. Around 2 in the morning, when Nari's fever had finally broken and she was resting peacefully, Naila and Jiho found themselves alone in the hallway. "She's going to be okay," Naila said, more to herself than to him. "Yes," Jiho agreed. "She's strong, like her mother." Naila leaned against the wall, suddenly exhausted. "I was so scared." "Me too." They stood there in the quiet hospital corridor, and Naila felt everything she'd been holding back for weeks rise to the surface. "I'm tired, Jiho," she said quietly. "I'm tired of being angry. I'm tired of sleeping in the guest room. I'm tired of pretending we're okay when we're not." "What do you need?" Jiho asked. "Tell me what you need from me." "I need you to stop trying to protect me from everything," Naila said. "I need you to trust that I can handle the truth. I need you to see me as strong enough to stand beside you, not behind you." "I do see that," Jiho said. "I'm starting to see that." "Then prove it," Naila said. "No more secrets. No more half-truths. If something's happening, you tell me. Even if it's dangerous. Even if it's scary. You tell me." "Okay," Jiho said. "I will. I mean it." "I know you do," Jiho said. He stepped closer. "Naila, I know I don't deserve another chance. I know I hurt you in ways that might not heal, but I love you. I have loved you since the moment I met you. And if you'll let me, I want to spend the rest of my life proving that I can be the husband you deserve." Naila looked up at him, at the sincerity in his face, the fear, the hope. "I love you too," she whispered. "That's what makes this so hard. If I didn't love you, I could have just left and never looked back. But you came back. For my visa. For Nari. And for yourself," Jiho said gently. "Because part of you still believes we can fix this." He was right. As much as Nyla wanted to deny it, she hadn't given up on them. Not completely. "It's going to take time," she said. "I can't just forget everything that happened." "I know. And I'm still sleeping in the guest room." "I know. And we're going to therapy." "I know," Jiho said. A small smile tugged at his mouth. "You've made that very clear." Despite everything, Nayla smiled too. "Okay then. Okay? Okay. We try. Really try. Together." Jiho's whole face lit up. Together. He reached for her hand again, and this time Nayla squeezed back. They still had so far to go. There were still so many problems to solve, so many wounds to heal. But standing in that hospital hallway at 2 in the morning, with their daughter sleeping safely nearby, Nyla felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Nari was discharged from the hospital the next afternoon. The infection was under control, and her fever was completely gone. She was back to her cheerful self, chattering about the nice nurses and the TV in her hospital room. "Can we get a TV in my room at home?" she asked, as Jiho carried her to the car. "Absolutely not," Nyla and Jiho said at the same time. Nari pouted, but the hospital had one. "The hospital is special," Nyla explained. "Home is for playing and reading and sleeping." "And watching TV in the living room," Jiho added. "Fine," Nari sighed dramatically. At home, Nyla settled Nari on the couch with her favorite blanket and turned on a cartoon. Jiho disappeared into the kitchen and came back with tea for Nayla and juice for Nari. "Thank you," Nyla said, taking the cup. "I called the therapist you wanted," Jiho said quietly, sitting down beside her. "We have an appointment next week, Tuesday at 4. Nayla blinked in surprise. "You actually called?" "I said I would." "I know, but I thought you'd need more convincing." Jiho shook his head. "I'm done pretending I have all the answers. If therapy helps us, then we do therapy." Something warm bloomed in Nayla's chest. This was progress. Small, but real. Over the next few days, they fell into a new rhythm. Jiho still went to work, but he came home earlier. They had dinner together as a family every night. Afterward, while Nari played, Nyla and Jiho would go through the files from Soo-yeon's USB drive. They identified 12 people in Jiho's organization who had been working with Director Kang on side operations. Jiho fired all of them within a week. "Won't that cause problems?" Nayla asked. "Firing that many people at once?" "Probably," Jiho said. "But keeping them causes worse problems." He was right. 2 days after the firings, someone set fire to one of Jiho's warehouses. No one was hurt, but the message was clear. The people he'd cut out were fighting back. "This is going to get worse before it gets better," Jiho told Nayla that night. They were in his office, looking at security footage of the fire. "Then we need to be smart about it," Nayla said. She'd been thinking about this all day. "What if we go public?" "Public how?" "A press conference. You announce that you've discovered corruption in your organization and you're cleaning house. You position yourself as the good guy taking a stand." Jiho frowned. "That could work. Or it could make me look weak." "It makes you look principled," Nayla argued. "And it puts pressure on the people we fired. If everyone knows they're corrupt, they lose credibility. They can't just slide into another organization." "You're thinking like a lawyer." "I am a lawyer," Nayla reminded him. "And if we're going to restructure this whole operation, we need to control the narrative." Jiho studied her for a moment. Then he smiled. "Okay, we'll do it your way." "Really?" "Really. Set up the press conference." Nyla felt a thrill of something that might have been pride. He was listening to her. Actually listening. The press conference was scheduled for the following week. Nayla helped Jiho prepare his statement. They went over it again and again until he had it memorized. The night before the conference, Nayla found Jiho standing at the window of his office, looking out at the city. "Nervous?" she asked. "Terrified," he admitted. "I've never been good at the public side of things. I prefer to work in the shadows." "Well, Tomorrow you step into the light, Nayla said. She came to stand beside him. But you're not doing it alone. You're coming with me. If you want me to. Jiho looked at her. I want you to. But are you sure? This will put a target on your back, too. There's already a target on my back, Nayla pointed out. Might as well own it. The next day, they stood together in front of a room full of reporters. Nayla wore a navy suit and kept her expression neutral. Jiho delivered his statement calmly, professionally. He admitted that corruption had been found in Kang Enterprises. He announced the termination of 12 employees and a full internal audit of all operations. I take full responsibility for failing to catch this sooner, he said, but I'm committed to running an organization that operates with integrity. Thank you. The reporters shouted questions. Jiho answered a few carefully, then ended the conference. As they walked out, Nayla felt the cameras on them. How did I do? Jiho asked quietly. You were perfect, Nayla said. That night, the news coverage was mixed. Some outlets praised Jiho's transparency. Others questioned whether he'd really been unaware of the corruption. But overall, the narrative was shifting in their favor. It's working, Nayla said, watching the news coverage. Thanks to you, Jiho said. Their first therapy session was 2 days later. Nayla had asked Yemi to watch Nari for the afternoon. They drove to the therapist's office in silence, both of them tense. Dr. Kim was a woman in her 50s, with kind eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. She invited them to sit on a comfortable couch and took her own seat across from them. So, she said, tell me why you're here. Nayla and Jiho looked at each other. Then Nayla started talking. She told Dr. Kim about the photographs, about leaving, about coming back. Jiho added his perspective, the secrets he'd kept, the reasons why. Dr. Kim listened without interrupting. When they finished, she nodded. It sounds like you both love each other very much, she said. But you've built your relationship on different foundations. Nayla, you need honesty and partnership. Jiho, you equate love with protection. Those two things have been in conflict. Yes, Nayla said. Exactly. So our work together will be about building a new foundation, Dr. Kim continued. One where you both feel safe, seen, and valued. It won't be easy. You'll have to unlearn patterns you've been practicing for years. I'm willing to try, Jiho said. So am I, Nayla agreed. Over the next few weeks, they went to therapy every Tuesday. Some sessions were hard. They talked about things they'd never discussed before. Jiho's relationship with his father. Nayla's fear of losing herself in the marriage. The different ways they showed love. One session, Dr. Kim asked them to list what they needed from each other. Nayla went first. I need honesty, even when it's hard. I need to be included in decisions. I need to feel like an equal partner. And what are you willing to give in return? Dr. Kim asked. Patience, Nayla said. Understanding that change takes time. Grace when you make mistakes. Dr. Kim turned to Jiho. Your turn. I need to know that when I'm vulnerable, you won't leave, Jiho said quietly. I need reassurance that I'm not too broken to be loved. Nayla's eyes filled with tears. You're not broken. Sometimes I feel like I am. That night, after they put Nari to bed, Nayla knocked on Jiho's office door. Can I come in? She asked. Always, he said. She sat down across from his desk. What you said in therapy today, about feeling broken. Did you mean that? Jiho set down his pen. Yes. Why? Because I look at the life I've lived, the things I've done, and I wonder if there's any part of me left that's good, Jiho said. Then I look at you and Nari, and I think maybe there is, but I'm terrified I'll ruin it. You won't, Nayla said. How do you know? Because you're trying, she said. Broken people don't try to fix things. They just accept that they're broken. You're not accepting it. You're fighting for us. That's not broken. That's brave. Jiho looked at her like she'd given him something precious. "Thank you." "Come here," Nayla said. He came around the desk. She stood and wrapped her arms around him. Jiho held her like she might disappear. "We're going to be okay," Nayla whispered. "It's going to take time, but we're going to be okay." Jiho nodded against her shoulder. That night, Nayla slept in the guest room again. But the next morning, she moved some of her clothes back into the master bedroom closet. Jiho noticed but didn't say anything. He just smiled. 2 weeks later, Nayla's immigration hearing arrived. She'd been dreading it. But Jiho had assured her they had everything they needed. They arrived at the immigration office together. Their lawyer met them there, a sharp woman named Attorney Bayek, who specialized in visa cases. "We have documentation proving your marriage is legitimate," Attorney Bayek said. "Joint bank accounts, lease agreements, photographs, testimony from friends. Plus, the complaint was filed by someone who's now deceased and had clear ulterior motives." "Will that be enough?" Nayla asked. "It should be. But let me do the talking." The hearing took less than an hour. The immigration officer asked questions about their relationship, their living situation, their daughter. Nayla answered honestly. So did Jiho. At the end, the officer stamped a form. "Complaint dismissed. Your visa status is not in question, Mrs. Kang." Nayla felt relief wash over her. "Thank you." Outside the building, she turned to Jiho. "It's over." "This part is," he agreed. "What do you mean?" "I got a message this morning," Jiho said carefully. "Park's organization wants a meeting." "About what?" "About Suyan giving us that USB drive. They know it came from her." Nyla's stomach dropped. "Is she in danger?" "I don't know, but I'm going to find out." "When is the meeting?" "Tonight." "I'm coming with you," Nayla said immediately. "Nayla, no, it's too dangerous." "We're partners, remember," she said. "You don't get to shut me out of the dangerous parts." Jiho looked like he wanted to argue. Then he sighed. "Fine. But you stay in the car. If anything happens, you drive away and call the police." "Deal." That night, Yemi came to watch Nari again. Nayla told her daughter she had to work late. Nari accepted this with a hug and a request for pancakes in the morning. "I can do pancakes," Nayla promised. The meeting was at a restaurant in Gangnam. Jiho brought 2 of his most trusted people, Min Jun and another man named Dai Jung. They were both big, serious, and clearly armed. Nayla waited in the car as promised, but she kept her phone in her hand, ready to call for help if needed. Through the restaurant window, she could see Jiho sitting across from an older man who had to be Park. They talked for what felt like forever. Nyla's hands were sweating. Finally, Jiho stood. He bowed slightly and walked out. When he got back to the car, his expression was unreadable. "What happened?" Nyla asked. "Park wanted to know if I was behind Director Kang's death," Jiho said as they drove away. "I told him no. We have a mutual enemy problem, and taking out my uncle would only cause me more complications." "Did he believe you?" "I think so. He also wanted to discuss Suyeon." "Is she safe?" "For now. He's angry that she gave us information, but she's his daughter. He won't hurt her. He's sending her to study in Europe for a year to get her away from the situation." "So she's being punished." "She's being protected," Jiho corrected. "Park's world is getting more unstable. Sending her away keeps her safe." Nayla thought about Suyeon, a woman trapped by her father's world, just trying to do the right thing. "I hope she's okay." "Me too," Jiho said. When they got home, Nayla paid Yemi and thanked her for watching Nari. Then she went to check on her daughter. Nari was fast asleep, her stuffed rabbit tucked under her arm. Nayla stood in the doorway, watching her breathe. This was what mattered, keeping Nari safe, giving her a good life. Jiho appeared beside her. "She's beautiful," he whispered. "She is," Nayla agreed. "I'm going to make sure she never has to be part of this world," Jiho said. "Whatever it takes, I'll keep her separate from the business." "How?" I'm working on legitimizing everything. It'll take years. But I want Kang Enterprises to be clean by the time Nari is old enough to understand what we do." "That's a good goal," Nyla said. They stood there together, watching their daughter sleep, and Nyla felt something settle in her chest. They were going to be okay. Not perfect, but okay. "Before we get to the end, I need to ask you something. Have you been rooting for Nyla and Jiho? Do you think they deserve a second chance? Drop a comment and let me know. And if you've made it this far in the story, please hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you'll want to see what happens next." Now let's finish this. Over the next 3 months, life began to find a new normal. Nayla moved fully back into the master bedroom, not because everything was perfect, but because they were both trying. Some mornings, she woke up and felt angry all over again about the lies. Other mornings, she woke up and felt grateful that they were still together. Therapy continued. Dr. Kim helped them navigate the hard conversations, helped them learn to fight fair, to listen better, to trust again. One evening, about 4 months after Nyla had first left, they had their biggest fight since coming back together. It started because Jiho made a decision about Nari's school without consulting Nayla first. He'd enrolled her in a private academy without asking. "You didn't think I should have a say in where our daughter goes to school?" Nyla demanded. "I was trying to keep her safe," Jiho said. "The academy has better security." "That's not the point. The point is, you made a decision about our child without talking to me. I'm her father." "And I'm her mother," Nyla shouted. "We're supposed to make these decisions together." "I was trying to protect her." "Stop hiding behind protection," Nyla yelled. "You did this because you wanted control, not because Nari needed protecting." Jiho went very still. "You're right." Nyla had been gearing up to yell more. She stopped. "What?" "You're right," Jiho repeated. "I did it because I wanted control. Because making decisions alone feels safer than risking disagreement. But that's not fair to you. I'm sorry." Nyla sat down, her anger deflating. Did therapy just actually work? Jiho smiled slightly. "I think it did." "So, you'll cancel the enrollment?" "We'll visit the school together, and we'll decide together. If you don't like it, we'll find somewhere else." "Okay," Nyla said. "Okay, that works." They visited the academy the next week. Nayla had to admit the security was impressive, but the school also had an excellent arts program and small class sizes. They enrolled Nari together. In therapy that week, Dr. Kim asked them to rate their relationship on a scale of 1 to 10. 6, Nayla said. 7, Jiho said at the same time. Dr. Kim smiled. "When you started, you both said 3. That's real progress." "It doesn't feel like enough," Nayla admitted. "Progress is progress," Dr. Kim said. "You're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be better. And you are." That night, Nyla found Jiho in Nari's room, reading her a bedtime story. She leaned against the doorframe and listened. His voice was soft and gentle, nothing like the cold tone he used in business meetings. When he finished, Nari asked, "Appa, do you love Mama?" "More than anything," Jiho said. "Then why were you sad before?" "Because sometimes grown-ups make mistakes, and it takes time to fix them." "But you fixed it now." "We're working on it," Jiho said. "Every single day." "Good," Nari said, satisfied. "Because I like it when you're both happy." After Nari fell asleep, Jiho joined Nyla in their bedroom. "She's perceptive," Nyla said. "She gets that from you." Nyla was sitting at her vanity, taking off her earrings. Jiho came to stand behind her. Their eyes met in the mirror. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "Always." "Are we going to make it?" Nyla turned to face him. "I think so. I'm not sure yet. But I think so." "That's enough for me," Jiho said. "Is it really?" "Yes, because hope is more than I had 4 months ago." Nayla stood and cupped his face in her hands. I'm not going to lie and say I've forgiven everything. I'm not going to pretend it doesn't still hurt sometimes. But I see you trying. I see you changing. And that means something. I love you, Jiho said. I love you too, Nayla replied. Even when I don't want to. Even when it's hard. I love you. Jiho kissed her then. It was soft and careful and full of everything they'd been through. When they pulled apart, Nayla was crying. Happy tears? Jiho asked, wiping her cheeks. Complicated tears, Nayla said. But yeah, mostly happy. By the 6-month mark, things had changed significantly. Jiho had restructured most of Kang Enterprises. Several operations had been legitimized. Others had been shut down entirely. He'd made enemies, but he'd also earned respect. Nayla had started her own law practice, focusing on human rights and immigration cases. She worked from a small office in Gangnam and took on clients who couldn't afford big firms. Yemi became her first employee. I can't believe you convinced me to leave my comfortable translation job for this tiny office, Yemi joked on their first day. I offered you equity and flexible hours, Nayla pointed out. You offered me a chance to do something that matters, Yemi corrected. That's why I said yes. The practice grew slowly but steadily. Nayla took on asylum cases, visa disputes, and workplace discrimination suits. She loved it in a way she'd never loved working at the bigger firm. At home, she and Jiho continued therapy. They had good weeks and hard weeks, but they kept showing up. One evening, after a particularly difficult session where they talked about building trust after betrayal, Nayla asked, "Do you think we'll ever get back to how we were at the beginning?" "No," Jiho said honestly, "but I don't think we should." "What do you mean?" "At the beginning, I was hiding half my life from you. You were seeing only the parts I wanted you to see. That wasn't real. And now? Now you see all of me," Jiho said. "The good and the bad, the business and the consequences. And you're still here. That's better than the beginning. That's real." Nayla thought about it. He was right. Their relationship now was messier, more complicated, harder. But it was also more honest. "Okay," she said. "I can live with real." On their 7th anniversary, Jiho surprised Nayla with a weekend trip. Yemi agreed to watch Nari, and they drove to a small coastal town 3 hours from Seoul. "When did you plan this?" Nayla asked. 2 months ago. I wanted to do something special." They stayed at a traditional hanok that had been converted into a guest house. It was quiet and beautiful, overlooking the ocean. That night, they walked on the beach. The sun was setting, painting everything gold and pink. "I've been thinking," Jiho said, "about what you said once, about needing a partner. I remember. I want to be that for you, not just in words, but in actions. So I've made a decision about the business." Nayla stopped walking. "What kind of decision?" "I'm stepping back, not completely, but significantly. I'm bringing in a managing director to handle day-to-day operations. Someone clean, someone trustworthy. I'll still own the company, but I won't be running it anymore. Jiho, that's your family's legacy." "No," he said. "You and Nari are my family's legacy. The business is just money and power. I don't want to spend the rest of my life choosing between the syndicate and the people I love." Nayla stared at him. "You're serious?" "Completely. I want to be present. For you, for Nari, for the life we're building. And I can't do that if I'm always looking over my shoulder." "What will you do instead?" "I don't know yet," Jiho admitted. "Maybe I'll figure out what I actually want to do with my life. Maybe I'll go back to school. Or maybe I'll just be a husband and father for a while." Nayla threw her arms around him. "I'm proud of you." "Yeah?" "Yeah. This is huge. This is everything." They stood on the beach, holding each other as the sun disappeared below the horizon. That night, in the hanok, they talked until almost dawn, about their dreams, their fears, their hopes for the future, about Nari and the kind of life they wanted to give her, about themselves and who they wanted to become. "I want to grow old with you," Jiho said. "I want to see Nari graduate and get married and have kids of her own. I want boring, normal, everyday life with you." "That sounds perfect," Nyla said. "Really? You don't think you'll get bored?" "Jiho, I've had enough excitement to last a lifetime. Boring sounds amazing." He laughed. "Okay then, boring it is." When they got back to Seoul, Jiho made good on his promise. He hired a managing director, a former prosecutor, with an impeccable reputation. He started delegating more and spending less time at the office. He picked Nari up from school twice a week. He had dinner with his family every night. He went to Nyla's office and took her to lunch. "Who are you, and what have you done with my workaholic husband?" Nyla joked one day. "He's learning balance," Jiho said. "Slowly. Very slowly." "I like it," Nyla said. "Keep it up." 8 months after Nyla had first left, Dr. Kim asked them a question in therapy. "If you could go back to that night with the photographs, knowing what you know now, what would you do differently?" Jiho answered first. "I would have told her the truth immediately, all of it. I wouldn't have tried to manage the situation. I would have trusted her to handle it." "And you, Nyla?" Dr. Kim asked. Nyla thought about it. "I would have asked more questions before assuming the worst. I would have given him a chance to explain before I left. But I also don't regret leaving. I think we both needed that wake-up call." "That's very mature," Dr. Kim said. "You've both grown significantly since we started working together." "Does that mean we're done with therapy?" Jiho asked hopefully. "Do you feel like you're done?" Nyla and Jiho looked at each other. Then they both shook their heads. "We still have work to do," Nyla said. "A lot of work," Jiho added. Dr. Kim smiled. "Then we'll keep going. But I want you to know that what you've built here, this commitment to honesty and growth, that's the foundation of a strong marriage. You should be proud." As they walked to the car after the session, Jiho took Nyla's hand. "Are you happy?" he asked. "Yes," Nyla said, and she realized she meant it. "Not every moment. But overall, yes. Are you?" "Happier than I've ever been," Jiho said, "even with all the therapy and hard conversations and changes." "Because of all those things," Nyla corrected. "Yeah, because of all those things." 1 year after the night Nyla left, they had a small celebration. Just the 3 of them, at home. Nari made a card that said, "Happy Family Day," with pictures of the 3 of them holding hands. "What's Family Day?" Nyla asked. "It's the day we became a real family again," Nari explained, like it was obvious. Nyla and Jiho exchanged a look. "When did you get so wise?" Jiho asked his daughter. "I'm 5 now," Nari said seriously. "I know lots of things." They ordered pizza and watched movies and played games. It was simple and normal, and everything Nyla had wanted. That night, after Nari went to bed, Nyla found the envelope where she'd stored the photographs from that anonymous woman. She looked at them one last time, then she tore them up and threw them away. "What was that?" Jiho asked, coming into the room. "Letting go," Nyla said. Jiho pulled her close. "I love you." "I love you too. Are we going to be okay?" "Yes," Nyla said. And this time she was certain. "We're going to be okay." 3 years later. Nyla's law practice had grown to 5 employees and a bigger office. She'd won several high-profile cases and was being recognized as one of Seoul's top immigration attorneys. Jiho had gone back to school. He was studying architecture, the dream he'd given up years ago. He was older than his classmates and didn't care. Nari was 8 years old, smart and funny, and completely unaware that her father used to run a crime syndicate. She wanted to be an artist when she grew up. Kang Enterprises was fully legitimate now. The syndicate was a memory. Jiho's enemies had either been absorbed by other organizations or had moved on to other ventures. They still went to therapy, though less frequently now. Once a month instead of once a week. "Do you ever regret it?" Nyla asked one evening. They were sitting on their balcony, watching the sunset over Seoul. "Giving up the power, the control, all of it." "Not even once," Jaho said. "I have everything I actually wanted. A wife who knows the real me, a daughter who's happy, a life that doesn't require me to look over my shoulder. Why would I regret that? Some people would miss the excitement." "Some people didn't almost lose everything," Jiho said. He took her hand. "I did. I know what matters now." Nyla leaned against his shoulder. "We've come a long way. We have, and we have a long way to go." "That's okay," Nyla said. "I'm not in a hurry." Inside, Nari called for them. "Mama! Appa! Come see my painting!" They stood up together, hands still linked, and went inside. The painting was of their family. 3 figures holding hands under a bright yellow sun. Nyla was smiling in the picture. So was Jiho. So was Nari. "It's beautiful, baby," Nyla said. "It's us," Nari explained. "Happy." "Yes, it is," Jiho agreed. "That's exactly what we are." Nyla looked at her family, her daughter proud of her artwork, her husband's arm around her waist, and felt something she hadn't felt in years. Complete peace. They weren't perfect. They still had hard days. They still disagreed sometimes. Jiho still occasionally tried to protect her from things instead of trusting her with the truth. Nyla still sometimes pulled away when she felt overwhelmed, but they'd learned how to fight fair, how to apologize, how to forgive, how to choose each other every single day. That night, after Nari was asleep, Nyla was getting ready for bed when she noticed Jiho watching her from the doorway. "What?" she asked. "Nothing. I'm just appreciating." "Appreciating what?" "You. Us. The fact that you gave me another chance when you had every reason not to." Nyla walked over to him. "You earned it. You did the work. You changed." "We both did," Jiho said. "Yeah, we both did." She kissed him softly. "I'm glad I stayed." "Me too." They stood there in their bedroom, in the home they'd almost lost, holding each other. Outside, Seoul glittered with lights. Inside, their daughter slept peacefully. And in that moment, everything was exactly as it should be. Not perfect, not easy, but real, honest, true. And that was enough. That was everything. So what do you think? Did Nyla and Jiho's story touch your heart? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this journey, please subscribe to the channel. There are more stories like this coming. Stories about love and second chances and finding your way back to each other. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.